ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Namaskar. Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome to the concluding session of the essence of Vedanta. We have discussed a lot of things, and yesterday we talked about the need for correct choices, smart choices, choices that will have long standing repercussions with regard to one's spiritual growth. And these choices in the Kathopanishad are presented in twofold ways. Prayas, the pursuit of the delightful; Shreyas, the pursuit of everything, including the delightful, the pursuit of the ultimate. We also redefined what moksha is, because the non-understanding of moksha leads to wrong understanding of one's own quest. Then we started to talk about how the Upanishad goes about equating this individual who feels a sense of disconnection, loneliness, fear, all kinds of things. How this individual is redefined, re-identified as one with everything. We just started that discussion, and that is where we will pick up today. First, we have to see that the definition of samsara includes this alienation. The alienation is seen from a threefold angle. We can even add a fourth dimension because it is Kali Yuga, meaning a difficult time. So, the threefold way of looking at it is the separation from everybody else. I am this much, you are over there, I am over here, this is me, this is mine, that is yours. And this leads to a lot of anxiety and sorrow, which starts at age 2 and then continues till 92. That's why it is called separation anxiety. The child not being able to be without the mother even for 5 minutes at a time. This separation is the alienation, which is the hallmark of jiva-hood. In fact, the jiva is one which is lonely. This alienation from others around me. Jiva, jivayoho bhedah. The separation from other jivas. Then, of course, there is a separation from the Jagat. The Jagat is everything that we see starting with our own body, mind, sense complex. So much so that in the modern world, we neither have the time nor the inclination to take care of the body, to take care of the mind, to take care of the environment, because there is a direct connection between myself and the nature around me. If we pollute the water, who is going to be harmed? Ourselves. If we pollute the air, we are the one, our lungs are in distress. And like this, we fail to see that we are part of this beautiful, beautiful world of various names and forms, each of them sacred, each of them holy, each of them beloved, and each of them wonderful in their own places and spaces. Everything doesn't have to be taken home and put in a box. Sometimes you are walking, you see a rock, oh, this is so beautiful. And what is the tendency? To pick it up and bring it to the house. And then you say, oh, it had these pink shades and it was so lovely. Where? Over there, where it was meant to be. Maybe on the beach, maybe in the forest. But no, I can't leave it there. It has to become mine. So I take it home, wash it, and keep it on the table. Maybe it can be a, what is that called? We put some papers and paper weight. Maybe it can be my favorite paper weight. And then I look at it, it is not like how it was before. It is dull, colorless, listless, not as bright. And then after, if one is with the program, so to speak, one understands that things are best in their own places. They are divine, they are celestial, they are beautiful. A rose on the bush is not the same as the rose in the hand. The rose in the hand is going to wither. Rose in the bush, even when it withers, there is a certain beauty. And if we can get this far, the next step is to see. This is all preparation for the knowledge. So first we learn to appreciate the things in their own places and spaces, without the need to control, without the need for an agenda for what their life should look like, whether it's an animal or a bird or a rock or a plant. And whenever one has the tendency to make an agenda for the rest of the world, better look at what agenda am I giving my own life. Better bring the analysis close to home. Right here is the gaping wound of alienation that needs to be healed, that needs to be loved. That loneliness, that restlessness needs care. And if I don't see that, then it is powerfully projected on the Jagat. Jagat means this universe, starting with this own body, mind, sense complex. I just want to control everything and everybody. And the more I want to control, the more miserable I become. Then we have the alienation from the creator of the Jagat, aka Ishvara, Bhagavan, God. Somebody said, prove to me that God exists. It was a challenge. And I said, first you prove to me that there is no such thing called God. Then I can prove that there is God. So the word God is very misunderstood and not fully comprehended, partly because various versions of this word called God have been pushed down our throats with a stick in our childhoods. Some say you have to believe, and some say this is how it is, and some say you need to be saved. All these various contentions are there. In Vedanta, we say that the God you seek cannot be outside of you. Because the yearning to be one with everything, as we saw, is inbuilt and it is very, very, very strong. The urge for oneness is there very much, and the alienation is there whenever that urge cannot be taken care of. And this alienation expresses itself because I feel as an individual hopeless, helpless, and lorded over by all kinds of forces over which I seem to have no control. No control at all. Even the temperature, very difficult to control. Inside the room you have, what is that called? Thermostat. It can go like this. Outside, what are you going to do? In the winter, you can't go outside and go like this and make the snow go away. It would be very nice to set the outside temperature to 72 all year round. Not possible. The order called the climate, the weather, is the boss. Then there is the order in terms of my own health, the health of this body. When is it okay? When does it have a tendency to fall sick? When is it well? When is it compromised? All these things. That too is part of a different order, the karmic order. And even this body is a product of all the things that I did in previous lives. Oh, but were they good things or were they not very good things? A mixture. A mixture. We are all mixed up, pun intended. Karmically also a mixture. A mixture of good karma and bad karma leads to have a human body. Predominantly good karma makes one a deva. You become Yama, you become, what's his name, Indra, etc. And like this, the distance between oneself and this so-called creator, who is seen to be somewhere outside of the scheme of things. And certain theologies also say that God is in heaven. Where is this heaven? You can't go right now. What do I have to do? You have to die first. And then only you can go. So there is a distance. There is a distance between myself and whoever appears to be in charge of this scheme of things. In Vedanta, we don't believe in a random universe because the universe is nothing but random. It's nothing, it's nothing except random. It is not random at all because it is predictable. Everything is predictable, everything can be studied, everything is understandable. That's why we can walk, because there is gravity uniformly everywhere in the same way. If suddenly the gravity were not there somewhere, then it would be very difficult to walk. It would be very difficult to talk. It would be very difficult to get any transactions going in the universe. It is very predictable. A whole series of orders, extremely predictable. The order that defines this body and every other body, the anatomical order, extremely predictable. Wherever there are eyes, they see. The eyes of the cow, very docile. The eyes of the cheetah, which says, "Are you going to be my lunch today?" All of these eyes, their function is to see. This is a grand, grand, grand order that transcends even the dyad between disorder and order. The order that we speak of is so vast that even the disorder is included within the order. So if supposing a pair of eyes do not see, that's also part of the order. That also can be studied. Macular degeneration, glaucoma, so many things, so many conditions. They have names for them. They have studied them. And so therefore, there is, this order is just huge, vast. The order of dharma. Dharma is an order, it's a manifestation of Bhagavan. All these orders, we say, are not mandates of what we call Ishvara, but manifestations of Ishvara. And the order called Dharma, again, manifestation of Ishvara. It includes all the righteous ways of living, and it includes also people who don't conform to the order. Because everything is included in this mega order which is beyond divisions. So the order of Dharma includes people who want to give you instant vairagya from what? Your money. People who want to thieve. People who want to take away other people's possessions. And that they can repent. Like Valmiki, who repented his ways and then wrote the Ramayana, that also is part of the order. That some of them may never repent, may never turn over into a new leaf, is also part of the order. Very, very vast order, beyond all divisions of good and bad, dharma, adharma, papa, punya. Papa, bad karma, punya, good karma. It's beyond all this. The order includes all of them and transcends them also. And we find in this universe everything is given. Body given, mind given, stomach given, methods to fulfill the stomach definitely given, and the need for rest given, time to sleep given. The order is so vast, so huge, and infallible. And then we come very close to the heart, an order that is easy to miss, the psychological order. My own emotions, my own feelings, my core issues, my patterns, all are part of this mega order. That's why we have the branch of psychology, we have a branch of knowledge called psychology, which studies the human mind and emotions. We can predict, the psychologists, though those who know about all this can say, given this background of neglect, that a person growing up in that kind of a household where there was utter neglect will have anger issues is a given, part of the law. Being part of the, what is that, like having an alcoholic person as a parent will again produce certain kinds of issues for the person in adulthood. That is also given. There are trust issues because the primary caregivers could not be trusted. So like this, what happened to now my own feelings? It's no longer my anger. It's no longer my sorrow. It is part of the order in which I flow as this jiva, as this entity. It's all very, very vast, very, very beautiful, and something it is good to get familiar with. Then about these orders, one more thing to observe is that everything is given. And then what we say in the Upanishads, what the Upanishads say is that the giver is non-separate from what is given. The effect is non-separate from the cause. Just like if we take a pot, what is the cause of pot? Clay. Clay is the cause of pot. Clay is non-separate from pot. The top of the pot, clay. The middle of the pot, clay. Bottom of the pot, clay. The pot is nothing but clay. In fact, we see no pot. We see only clay. No, but I see a pot. If somebody says that, we will say, please take the pot, leave me the clay. Are you able to do that? No? And that is how the whole thing is. It's a beautiful intertwining of the intelligence, the knowledge, and that which the knowledge is the knowledge plus the name and the form comprises this Jagat. If we look at the flower, it is nothing but flower knowledge. Flower is, when I say, that means what? Flower exists. The flower is indistinguishable from flower knowledge. Flower is, flower knowledge is. If you have come this far, then let us go a little further. Flower knowledge is. Flower is. And this isness, if we can use that word, of the flower, we would say, does not belong to the flower. The isness of the flower is borrowed by the name and form called the flower. Flower is. Flower knowledge also is not intrinsic to the flower. It is a borrowed sentience. It's a borrowed existence. And what kind of a knowledge is it? What kind of an existence is it? If we were to ask these questions, we would say it's an existence that never comes to an end. It's a knowledge that never comes to an end. That is why if we study any branch of knowledge, it is unending, totally unending. It is never coming to an end. You can keep on specializing, keep on writing PhD after PhD after PhD without running out. This shows how vast this knowledge is. This shows how vast this existence is. But wait, you said flower always is. Yes? Oh, but then if I keep holding the flower, it will wither, it will die, it will just be no longer there. Yes, but the isness doesn't go away. The flower changes, the flower transforms, but the isness is one and the same all the time. Flower bud is. Blossoming flower is. Blossomed flower is. Withered flower is. Dead flower is. Composted flower is. Another flower bush is. Is continues. It's an endless is. Is equal to Sat. Endless Sat. That is what is forever. Forever is. And forever all knowledge which is not mediated by the knower-known relationship. Everything that I know is separate from me and I know it as an object. The I, however, I know but not as an object. That is why if I were to ask the question, are you here? What would you say? Don't scare me. What would you say? What would you say? Yes, I'm here. You don't have to say, let me ask somebody and then I'll get back to you. You don't have to ask anybody. It's a self-evident I. An I that is never hidden. So in order to know anything other than me, I have to deploy a means of knowledge. But in order to know the I don't need a means of knowledge because the I is self-evident. But we need the Shastra to find out the nature of this I that is not owned up, that is not assimilated because of so many blocks due to Atma Ajnana, self-ignorance. Therefore, this threefold alienation has to be taken seriously and has to be resolved, and that, my dear friends, is really the essence of Vedanta. But because of the time constraints, The essence of Vedanta will only be what? A sense of Vedanta, which you can then take with you and keep exploring, keep listening. So, these threefold alienation, and I said we can add a fourth kind of an alienation, the alienation of myself from me. I don't know who I am, and then, therefore, I come to all kinds of ideas, and there is a constant tug of war. I want Shreyas, but something in me wants what? Shreyas, yes. Why? Because there is a portion of myself that is evident to me, that I know. There are certain feelings I understand, and there is a portion which I do not know. It's called the unconscious mind. I do not know that. What is this unconscious mind? It is a warehouse of all kinds of uninterrogated hurts, pains, sorrows from childhood which have not been healed. That keeps on coming out in the most inopportune moments and at great cost, at the cost of a job. Why? Because I blew up at everybody during the interview. Why did you do that? I myself don't know. Something happened. And that something is what needs to be explored. Usually there is a trigger. And because of that trigger, and that unidentified trigger, unknown trigger, unfamiliar trigger, one blows up the job, one blows up the partnership, one blows up the friendship, one blows up the marriage. Possible. One destroys relationships. So there is the need to heal this inward split as well. This inward split between I know what I want, but I still go for those things that are not at all good for me. This is the split that has to be addressed and healed. So these four forms of alienation are indeed points to ponder and think about, and and they all go away. The distinctions go away in light of the fact that when we inquire into the word I, what remains is just awareness. How do we know that? If you attended the potato harvest last night, you will know what I am talking about. Yeah. So all the non-potato is left behind, is beaten out, and only the potato is taken. What is potato? Satchidananda. Good. That much remembered. Yeah. Next time you go to the store, don't say, I would like to buy some Satchidananda. That time, potato, okay? Yeah. So, now the thing is this, that this shaking up of what I thought is myself is a very important shedding. It's the shedding of everything that is not I, based on the definition of Sat as non-changing. Sat, truth, Sat, existence, non-changing, non-negatable. Can you negate the body? Yes, gone. Can you negate the mind? Yes. In fact, it's already negated because the only thing to say about the mind is what? Never mind. That's all there is to say. So, mind, negatable, negated, senses, negatable, negated. That I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a teacher, I'm unemployed, negated, negatable. That I'm a son or a daughter or a mother or father, negated, negatable. All the things are negatable. What is left? Somebody said nothing is left. Oh, what to do now? What is left is you. The one who says nothing is left is that consciousness, that awareness. That is all that is left. And then this Ishvara, who is almighty, all knowledge, omniscient. And who am I? Struggling to spell the word omniscient. And this Ishvara, the same operation is done on the other side as well. This almighty, all-knowing Ishvara, this all-knowledge is what? Is only in relation to the manifest universe. When there is no manifest universe, you cannot say that there is an overlord. The status of overlord is not there. And so, that status is negated. Ishvaratvam, Ishvaraness, Ishvarahood negated. All knowledge negated. All might negated. The creator of the universe negated. Why? Because the universe comes and goes in cycles. Universe, creator of the universe negated. Sustainer of the universe negatable, negated. Resolver of the universe, the one who takes the universe back, negated, negatable. What is left? Awareness, consciousness. That is all that is left. This awareness, consciousness is not separate from I, awareness, consciousness. This is what is disclosed, unfolded in what are called Mahavakyas. Mahavakya means the sentences which tell you that the so-called difference between Ishvara and Jiva is a spoof. There is no difference. And therefore, we say all that is here is consciousness, and that is myself, and that same consciousness is in the rock. Really? Yes? But the rock does not talk. This is true. Rock does not talk. You can say I rock. The rock cannot say I rock. That's the only difference. The rock cannot talk because of the absence of a subtle body. But the rock is Satchidananda. Everything is Satchidananda. I am Satchidananda. The nature of this consciousness, this awareness is Satchidananda. It exists, it is all-knowing, it is sentient, and it never comes to an end. Many bodies one may take on, many minds, but that consciousness is one and one alone. This has to be discovered through a systematic and continuous exposure to Vedanta. You cannot say, I will attend one class every year. and then I will get this knowledge. Not possible. The exposure has to be continuous. It's a committed exposure, it's a committed immersion, which will, because of which we will reap the benefit of this oneness. But for now, we can talk a little bit about how this exposure, how this commitment gives fruit. You can see that. One thing is this, that in order to understand this oneness, I have to go through the manifest universe. I cannot bypass the Jagat. I cannot bypass the trees, the grasses, the animals, the people, the rivers, the mountains. Nothing I can bypass. They're all here. I cannot say I'm going to go straight to that consciousness and not worry about all that surrounds me. I am solo. Because it is here, it is palpable. And I see the costs of not making peace with each and every thing in the universe. But that's a very huge job. How can I make peace with everything in the universe? I cannot. How can I make peace with every person in the universe? I cannot. Even within myself, how can I make peace with every emotion that I have? I cannot. Therefore, I have to go to that which is the cause of all these orders, Ishvara. For the time being, we accept the Jiva Ishvara, not the separation, but the as though apparent separation. In fact, bringing this awareness of Ishvara into one's life is in fact the last frontier of duality. Relating to this Ishvara in the form of an altar, temple, etc. is also the last frontier of duality. But it is not a step that can be skipped. It is not a step that can be missed for most people. I would say for almost everybody. Because in relating to what is here, only then I can transcend the differences. Only then I can see the oneness. So first we look for forming, charting a relative oneness between myself and a river, the mountains, the animals, all beautiful in their own spaces and places. The oneness between myself and all other people in the universe, starting even with those who are very, very dear to me. I can appreciate the river, no problem. I can say, how lovely. Look at the sun falling on it. Look at how wonderful it is. When I look at the river, I don't have an agenda for the river. I don't tell the river, bad river. You should be flowing north to south. Why are you flowing west to east? I don't say that. Same thing with the mountain. I don't look up and say, why are you so tall? You're giving me a pain in the neck. You should be shorter. I'm able to see things in their place and appreciate them for what they are because I do not have an agenda. This is exactly the place to start, where I can discover myself as an appreciative, non-demanding, contented, accommodative, and non-complaining person. Something happens when we go closer, something happens. Instead of the mountain, you think of the mother. Oh, big difference. Ah, only similarity, both start with M. Okay? Mother and mountain. But that's where the similarity ends. Mother means there will be lots of omissions and commissions. Whether the mother is in the body or is not in the body doesn't matter. Lots of omissions and commissions with regard to the mother, her own as well as mine in relation to hers. Lots of omissions, lots of commissions. There is guilt, there is hurt, there is fear, there is abandonment, there is so many things. But I have to learn to look at the mother in the same way as I look at the mountain. How do I do that? By granting her the freedom to be whoever she is, whoever she was in my perception. Very, very important. Extremely important. So that I don't have two sets of mothers, one objective, one internalized. The outside mother, however she was, however she is somebody to deal with, yes. But when that dealing becomes subjective, because when that mother I allow to get under my skin, the whole game changes. Same thing with the father. Big difference between river and father. Both end in ER, but that's where the similarity ends. Same thing I have to do. Grant him, whether he is in the body or not in the body, grant him the freedom to be whoever he was, whoever he is, in how I see him. The extent to which I'm able to do this is the extent to which I can be objective. It's the extent to which I can reclaim my nature as an appreciative being. Oh, but how can I be appreciative when he wasn't like this and she should have been like this and she wasn't like this? We have a saying in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Matradevo bhava, Pitradevo bhava. Be the one. May you be the one for whom the mother is an incarnation of Ishvara. May you be the one to whom the father is an incarnation of Ishvara. Very hard to do. Very hard to do without the help of Ishvara. We have to pray, we have to cry, we have to jump up and down, or do whatever it takes to make peace with our parentage, to see that inevitability, that this exactly were the parents I was meant to have. And this is exactly how I am shaped as a result. And this is not just a burden, and this is in fact something I can make into a legacy of what I can help others in a similar situation, perhaps. Then again, Ishvarizing the parents makes us be very cognizant of our own karma, our own karmic residues, which cannot be changed and which have to be radically accepted. And in this acceptance, I grow to be a more compassionate and a gentler creature, a more accepting creature. This is something we have to do as a homework for Vedanta. Because in a heart that is free of prejudice, free of all kinds of preferences, and the parental trap is a very big thing because it's a primary relationship and therefore it has to be healed in the manner that we have discussed. By offering it up to Ishvara, seeing the inevitability of this parentage, making peace with my own background is as a very important step to the study of the Upanishad. Very, very important. This in modern parlance is called healing the, inner child. Don't think there is only one, there can be many. Yeah. Inner children, sometimes they behave like brats, doesn't matter. This we have to embrace. The inner child is not thrown away, is not given to somebody else to babysit. Tempting, is it? Yes. You take my inner child, I will babysit your body of hurt and pain. Only works for a little bit, not beyond that. That's why that little bit of time is called the honeymoon period, where the other person's inner child looks very cute and sweet. But don't worry, as annoying as your inner child is to you, the other person's inner child will also become equally annoying if your own inner child is not understood. We have to give it time. We have to give it space. Write it out. Yoga is a very good, asanas, very good way of integrating the inner child. Study of the Yoga Sutras, very beautiful. The practice of the yamas, niyamas, all these meditation. Very, very important. These are all ways to get ready to study the Upanishad. And what is the Upanishad? That which makes me shed all the notions that do not belong. Maybe we should call it Upanishad. Okay? Yeah. So, in this way we grow. We grow together. We stand tall like the redwood trees. By holding on to one another, we grow together and face the onslaught of whatever there is with equanimity, with grace, with integrity. I pray for everybody to have a wonderful life filled always with this delightful and most sacred knowledge. May you never swerve away from this knowledge. May this knowledge never go away from you. May you never negate Brahman. May you never feel like Brahman is negating you. Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. I thanks Swamiji for inviting me and for making this beautiful space available to all seekers who chose to come this time. Thank you very much, Swamiji.
I would like to really thank you for all your knowledge that you pass us. It's really immeasurable. We hope that can come back very soon. Thank you all for being here and make this program happen. Again, Swamiji.
Thank you. There is some prasad. Yes. Please come and receive. Please come.